Yeah, it's an exciting move, and I think if I'm a Pacers fan, I'm pretty happy about. Oops, sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Children in the background.
Children joy. Sup, nerds? It's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. My name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host, us beginning this recording before the NBA trade deadline has passed to us finishing this recording after the NBA trade deadline has passed. It's Adam Amola. Adam, how's it going?
It's going fine. Lots of news that we're going to cover. This has been a particularly active trade deadline. I have sworn off the Bulls, but I will elaborate more on that later. We have an all-guard roster, not seen since the Knicks of about 20 years ago, but very exciting stuff. Credit to us for pulling this off and doing a recording as the deadline passes. While you are in the future, it is Friday morning for you, Thursday afternoon for me. But nevertheless, the trade deadline is upon us. As I say these words, we are about 15 minutes from the exact deadline ending. But as always, there's going to be stuff trickling in. And there's already been a huge amount of news for a lot of teams, including our two teams. Where to begin? Mm-hmm. I guess, the Teal Memorial locker room is where to begin technically.
Correct. It's where we get centered. It's where we get ready to rock. And you know who is ready to rock?
I would say our patrons. So shout out to all of them, and especially our producer level patrons.
Yes. Shout out to those producers: Polly Burge, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed. Steph Curry has some new teammates.
Yes, he does. And one less teammate, mainly Jonathan Kuminga.
Mm-hmm. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby as a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Forley, Utah Jash, and Derry Bird. And you know who else is ready to rock?
Certainly our sponsor who makes it all possible.
Yes, we'll be opening a bunch of tabs today reading these trades, and that is why this episode is brought to you by Tab for a Cause. You go to tabforacause.org/horse, and then every time you open a tab, you can raise money for charity. You choose what charities get supported. Perfect if you are in F5 season, as they call it on Reddit, where you are refreshing a page constantly or opening new tabs to see what's going on. So that's Tab for a Cause. Check it out. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon, where you don't have to listen to inserted ads, this is the point where we take breaks for inserted ads, especially if you're watching the Patreon live stream. We're just going to get right to it. So we'll take a break for the podcast version that isn't on Patreon. But now, hey, Adam, what's going on?
A lot of fun stuff, a couple new dates added, and I have continued to make good on my promise to remember the names of people who I meet along the way. We've got Yay. Lisa, aka Denver Steam Nuggets, in the chat right now. You've already received your shout out for coming out to my show in Denver, but thank you again. And thank you as well to Molly, a horse listener who I met in Beacon, New York, up in the Hudson Valley, doing a show there this past weekend. But stuff coming up as you are listening to this. If you're listening when it comes out, this coming weekend, I will be in Texas. So I'm in Austin, Texas at the Creek in the Cave on February 12th. That is a Thursday. Then on Friday the 13th, spooky. And Valentine's Day, equally spooky if you're, in a weird relationship. 4 shows at Dallas Comedy Club on the 13th and 14th. Those will probably sell out. They were very close last year. And then the Riot Comedy Club in Houston, Texas. If you want to come see me and possibly meet Mike's parents. What an opportunity. That's going to be on Sunday the 15th in Houston. The next headlining date I have after that will be in Great Barrington, Massachusetts on March 14th. That is up in the Berkshires at a venue that is harder to pronounce than my last name. I think it's like the Mahawai Performing Arts Center. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but it's all on my website. I will be recording a special for Dry Bar Comedy. That's in Provo, Utah. So if you're in the Utah area, that's on March 21st. There'll be 2 shows, and I think tickets are up for that imminently. I'll also be doing some other stuff in Park City and Salt Lake City while I'm out there. So check that out as well. This is a recently added one. I will officially be headlining the Stress Factory Comedy Club in New Brunswick, New Jersey again. That is on March 26th. Which is a Thursday. Then I've got Zanies in Chicago on Tuesday, April 21st. Chandler, Arizona at Mic Drop Comedy Club on Saturday, April 25th. Boston, Mass at the City Winery Loft on Friday, May 1st. And then working on adding possibly San Diego and LA to some of my West Coast stuff. And I'm sure more coming down the pipe. The pipe? I don't know. One of those.
Both. Yeah.
What about
awesome.
you? I know your tour is wrapping up, at least the TNR.
Yes. And New Zealand would be very in quick to let you know that they don't say nar here. They just say no. Okay. But yes, last night was the final of this kind of leg. It was the last New Zealand show. It was so fun. The vibes were electric. So shout out to everyone who came to any of the Australia, New Zealand shows. And then I will be back in the US and doing shows again starting in March. Got a show in Vienna, Virginia, March 15th, and then a whole bunch in April. Berkeley, Denver, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Raleigh. Trying to add more in between Berkeley and Denver. Boise, Idaho so far has replied to me. I'm also
I've
trying
heard Boise's
to do
awesome.
stuff I'm stoked. I really want to do, I'm really trying to get Boise and Albuquerque and Sacramento and maybe Oklahoma City. And the only ones that have replied to email so far has been Boise. So that's most likely to happen. We'll see about the other ones. But if you want to get tickets to the cities I for sure mentioned, that's at thenewsolympian.com/live. If you're in Denver, not that like it's about to sell out, but like we sold 30 tickets on day one and it's like 100-something person venue. So like get ready to get your tickets because it's looking like it'll be another sellout like it was last time. So thenewsolympian.com/live. Cool. Alrighty. So with that now, let's get into MBQ&A, and then we'll just talk trades all episode.
Yes, let's do it.
Lisa's coming to the Denver show. Thanks, Lisa. Yay.
We got a question from Hallie Silberg. Hallie says, "Hi, big fan. Thank you so much. I saw that graphic that shows the most frequent NBA shot locations in the last 20 years and how there's almost nothing between the rectangle and three-pointers. I'm curious what you think about the way the game is shifting. Is it making games more or less interesting? Do you think it's here to stay, or will it shift back at some point? Are guys having lower percentages because it's harder to hit from back there? And is that not even good for them to do? Thanks, Hallie." I don't see things shifting back to the way they were. I think now we are in a time of analytics, and the math tells you that a mid-range jump shot is the worst shot that you can take because you should either be scoring super close to the basket or just being a little bit further out and shooting a three-pointer. So I don't necessarily see that changing. Do you see it changing, or is there anything else within the game that you see shifting anytime soon?
I don't think so. I think the only thing with mid-range that exists now is if you are a star player who handles the ball, you being able to hit a mid-range shot that the defense might be willing to give you can really unlock your game. That is why some of the top MVP candidates like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic are so valuable and such a threat on offense because they can just make a shot from anywhere. Mm-hmm. So if the defense is giving it, but that's less of like you want to shoot a bunch of mid ranges and more of like, you want to be good enough to where they have to defend it to where they can't do the normal defense. But I think the reason that you have so many shots not happening in the mid range is basically any non-important player needs to be able to either dunk or make threes. And that's all you're asked to do. And I think the biggest difference, have you watched an NBA game from the 90s recently? Like, have you ever watched like a classic game?
Yeah. I mean, usually I go back and watch like an old Bulls game at some point, and it's like watching a completely different sport.
So many baskets, like half of them, there's just an offensive possession where it's like, we're just going to give the ball to MJ, and then the other four people aren't going to do anything, both offensively and defensively. Like, that's why people aren't getting injured back then, and they are getting injured now, is just like half of the game was just like, throw it to Shaq, and then be like, no one else is going to do anything. Like, it's effectively, everyone just takes a little break for there to be a little one-on-one.
Right.
And that happens so many times. Whereas now it's like people are running, they're moving, they're going all over the place. So if you're going to do that, the optimal thing is keep the ball moving until we get an open three-pointer, because 3 is more than 2. That's why. So I think that's like an underrated thing when people think about, all the shot stuff, because you look at some of the stars and they're still shooting mid-range shots and stuff, but all the like less important people, they're shooting threes or dunks, or they're not shooting. Right. And that's what really contributes to it.
Yeah, I continue to wonder if there's going to be any sort of measure put in place to keep scoring a little bit down from where it's gotten. It's hard because I think people just don't want to play as intensive defense during the regular season. The only thing I can think of is if they like brought back certain things that have been banned, like the hand check. Hand check is a very important thing where essentially you can't, as a defensive player, have your hand like on the offensive player's waist to essentially, keep control of them. And this was something that changed in the 90s. But there is somewhat of a movement to bring it back because I think people, I think rightfully so, assume that it would help keep scoring down a little bit, or also some of the really ticky-tack fouls that you see on certain players, like an SGA, that sort of thing.
That's what I think.
I think just maybe not calling the ticky-tack
change
stuff as much. Yeah.
That's what I'm at. Like, if we're just and that'll make it more fun to watch. There's less stoppage. It will maybe bring scoring down a little, in that there's fewer free throws. It's just, I don't know. Anytime you watch the Olympics or any of the international competitions, it's just so much smoother to watch on TV because there's less stoppage and there's less of these little stupid fouls, and you have fewer people trying to get these fouls. So I think that is like the one change they could do, because 4-point line's not going to change it. Widening the court would change it, but I don't think they're going to do that because it's just logistically a headache. So I think if you just call fewer fouls, I think that's where we're at. And that could do it. Yeah, that's the only change I could see happening. Yeah,
great question. And as Mike said, go back and just watch an old game just for fun. Part of it's interesting and enjoyable. Other things are so frustrating where, like, you watch any game with Kevin Garnett and it's just him shooting like a foot inside the 3-point line, and he easily could have just shot from behind the arc and scored way more points in his career, but it just wasn't something that was done.
Nope. Well, with that complete, we can get into what we're doing for the rest of this episode, which is talking about the trades. So currently, it is 5 minutes until the NBA trade deadline hits. So most of the things should be complete, but stuff's going to go. So I've got the Reddit NBA trade deadline tracker up, and they have it separated as 2-team trades and 3-team trades, and they have it listed where it's like oldest to newest.
Okay.
So I feel like we just go through those, and if they're boring, we just go like, yeah, that's it, and we don't even talk about it. That work?
Sure. I mean, do you want to go from oldest to newest and know that stuff's going to be coming in?
I think oldest to newest is the best way to make sure we don't miss anything.
Yeah, because I've also got Shams, Shams Charania, who's of course the go-to person for all things trades. I've got his Twitter up as well, so I'll keep an eye on that, but I'll let you take the lead here.
This was an earlier one. Trae Young, I guess it's still kind of trade deadline. Trae Young traded to the Hawks. I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this one on the pod. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Really? Okay. So this one, basically, the Hawks are deciding to move on from the Trae Young era. They're trying to go around Jalen Johnson. They're younger, better player. Trae Young has had a couple of seasons where he's been injured a lot, and then the Hawks play better when he's not there. And I think we're just seeing in this NBA, and this is another thing in the change of like old NBA versus now, is just, I think the new trend is if you can't defend at all, you don't have a place in this league. And it's like really becoming that, where one of the trades was Tyus Jones for cash considerations, which we love, but like more and more, I think like this season and last season in particular, if you can't defend at all, people want nothing to do with you. And
I do have one caveat, though. I don't want to correct you, but there is one place you can go if you are an undersized guard who can't defend. Come over to Chicago, baby.
Bulls.
We'll welcome you with open arms. After acquiring 11 other guards, we also signed Mac McClung.
Did you?
Yeah. I think possibly to just play tonight because they have like 5 players for a game against the Raptors.
I think that's what it has to be. Yeah. He'll put down a big dunk and it'll be fun. And more people on Reddit will be like, why isn't he on a team? Because he can't defend. So yeah, basically the Wizards, I don't know what they're doing because they've made some weird trades, but the Hawks are just trying to move off of Trae Young, and the Wizards are trying him out.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get to this as well. I don't want to jump around chronologically, but the Wizards also got Anthony Davis. So they have Anthony Davis and Trae Young. So I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're trying to be decent next year.
It seems like it seems like they're doing a like brief sojourn into being good with some high risk, they're injured all the time guys, and like see if it works. And then if it doesn't, their contracts will be over soon. I don't know. Let's see what happens. So the next one, very quick. The Blazers traded Duop Reith, who's a center, and some picks for Vit Krejci from the Hawks. All I know about this one is that Vit Krejci is like good. Like he's a very prolific 3-point shooter, and Hawks fans are mad that they traded him.
I mean, the Bulls are bad. Let me preface this by saying that, but like he absolutely torched us this year. There was a game where he must have hit like 8 threes.
I think he's like top 10 in 3-point percentage or something. So the rumblings on the Hawks subreddit was, why did we do this? And I guess it's to get the picks. So they got 2 picks, and Duobrief is fine, but like Vid Krejci is better. And I might be mispronouncing his name, and I apologize.
Krejci, something like that.
It's hard because it's Krejc where it's got the caret on top, and then I where it's slanting to the side. So yeah,
I don't know.
Let us know in the chats. So the next one, this is like the big one. This came in very recently, but we've got the Utah Jazz making a win now move and trading away some players like Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, which all feels like just trying to make the contracts match. A 2027 first round pick, another 2027 first round pick, and a 2031 first round pick. All for Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr., all from the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies are embracing the rebuild around their younger player, Zach Edey, and the new guy that they drafted this year, whose name is, his initials are CC, and I am blanking on his name because I've not watched a lot of Grizzlies. But they're basically, after trading away Desmond Bane in the offseason and trying to get rid of Ja this year, I guess, and now they've gotten rid of Jaren Jackson Jr., they have embraced the rebuild. And I don't know, it's an interesting move for sure. And
there's
Cedric Howard, that's who it was. Cedric Howard.
And there's still been speculation about Ja Morant being moved. That has not happened as of yet, but it's possible.
I think that's another one of those no one wants him kind of thing. Like, it's very Trae Youngish. Yeah. So I don't think people are interested in that. The Jazz, it's interesting because for so long they were just like being bad on purpose, trying to get, you know, a surefire, amazing draft person, and they just never did. They kept getting lower-ish top 10 picks, and some were doing well and some weren't. But I don't know. They've decided, let's build around Laurie, and I think it's fun. I think it's a fun move for the Jazz. I think they still have enough assets to continue and add to the roster, so they're trying to cash in a little bit. And I think the big thing is that Keontae George, their guard, is playing really well. Mm-hmm. And I think him playing well is like, oh, okay. So we've got Markkanen, we've got Keontae George, we've got Walker Kessler. Like, we have 3 good young dudes. Let's roll with them. And it feels Timberwolves-y the way that they have done this, where they have like 3 good big dudes that they're going to just kind of circulate, maybe play at the same time, maybe try and alternate to where you always have 2 good big guys on the court. I think it's an interesting move. I think it could work. It's at least fun. The Jazz have just been like really boring and bad on purpose for years and years. So like, let's switch it up.
Yeah.
So the next one after that is the Bulls getting in the mix. They have traded away Nikola Vucevic and a 2nd-round pick for Anthony Simons and a better 2nd-round pick. Mm-hmm. And this is with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics basically doing this as like a combination tax move / get a little big man depth move / Jason Tatum is coming back, so you don't really need a guard move. And for the Bulls, it's just get something for Vooch and roll the dice on Anthony Simons, who's been playing amazingly this year. Yeah. So, like, I kind of get it. And then you get a better pick. So, how do you feel?
I mean, I guess my overall feeling with the Bulls is that I'm glad that they've at least chosen a direction. I think that all of this was done way too late. Like, they've completely missed on the peak value for any of the players that they've traded. And to fast forward a little bit, the Bulls, just this deadline, and it's not even officially done yet, have traded Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, Kevin Huerter, like more than half their team, essentially. In addition to, over the past 2 years, trading Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. They have received a grand total of 0 first-round picks for all of those assets.
I think they got 1. I think they got 1 for all of them. One of the trades. I saw a thing on Reddit that said they got 1 first-round pick.
What I've heard is they've gotten 14 second-round picks and not a single first-round. But whether it's 1 or 0, it's malpractice. I'm going to say this declaratively, and we'll see if I can hold myself to it. I have watched the last Bulls game that I will watch for this season. I'm going to say that. Maybe in the fall, I'll check him out again. And much love to my man Adam Amin, who I was Instagram DMing with earlier. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. As far as the Vucevic trade specifically, it's fine. You know, I think it really does help Boston, and Boston's a team who's already way surpassed the expectations that anybody had for them. Do you know if Tatum is possibly going to be back this year?
It's been on the fence, and I think it seems like they will actually just do whatever is the best for his health. I think they're going to really trust that and not try and force the issue. My instinct is, I don't know, there hasn't been as much noise recently that I feel like they're going to just not do it, but maybe they will. I'm not sure.
But either way, they've been a shockingly good team despite not having Tatum the whole year. Jaylen Brown's been excellent. The whole Pritchard, of course, has been great. So I think Vooch is a good fit there. The big knock on Vooch is that he leaves a lot to be desired defensively, but he's a veteran guy. He's got a very good offensive game, great spot shooter, good post game. So I can see him helping them. And if they didn't feel like they needed Simons, and especially since Simons was kind of a stopgap until Tatum came back anyway, I think it's a move that makes sense for both sides. Of all the Bulls trades, that one was probably the one that bothered me the least.
Yeah. The only upsetting thing is you traded for Vooch at peak value and then sold him at absolute lowest value. But it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's not like he's had a bad year. He's still averaging a double-double, and he's a productive player. But he's just in the waning years.
Second most double-doubles in the NBA, and I think he surpassed Jordan for most double-doubles in Bulls franchise history.
That's right. Yeah.
Woo!
Good job.
Let's move it on. So then we've got a very shocking one. The Cavs and the Clippers just swapped James Harden for Darius Garland, and the Clippers also get a second-round pick. And this one, it came very suddenly. There was some interesting things where it was Harden is forced to trade, and Chris Mannix reported, and it was this is going to happen, and all this stuff. Basically, what it comes down to is the Cavs got very scared that Donovan Mitchell wasn't going to sign his extension, because I think he can sign an extension this summer. And apparently there were some rumors that Donovan Mitchell went in and was yo, this team is not good enough. I need different people. Vibes-wise, it seemed like he wasn't getting along with Garland. And also, Darius Garland's been dealing with a lot of injuries. He has injuries in both of his feet and has not played a lot recently. So it was basically a move of, we got to be better now to appeal to Donovan Mitchell. And I understand if you're the Cavs, you're in Cleveland, you have a better shot of retaining guys than you do bringing in free agents, because it's just not a glamorous free agent destination. So they're trying to bring in Harden to be better in the immediate. And the Clippers, on the flip side, knew they weren't going to sign Harden to his big contract extension that he could have after this season. And that made Harden also want to be out of LA. I do appreciate, Zach Lowe pointed this out on his podcast, and it's something I've thought as well. I appreciate that James Harden is incredibly transparent about what he does with all of his moves. Anytime a team doesn't want to give him the full contract or contracts extension, he goes, I want to get out of here. And you kind of got to respect, instead of especially Giannis this year with the whole, maybe it's a better fit if we go our separate ways. And I've indicated that my preference is Harden's just you guys aren't giving me money. Get me the hell out of here. And I really respect that a lot. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're giving people points for being honest, even if their honesty is kind of shitty, he does check that box. I mean, how many teams has he been on at this point?
I don't know, but he's been on, I think, 5 in the past 6 years or something like that. He's did Thunder, Rockets, Nets, Sixers, Clippers. Am I forgetting one? I think that's
possibly,
that's
but either way, yeah, he's got onto his 6th team. How many years do you think he even has left of being a high-level player?
I think he was a borderline all-star this year. Yeah. He's been playing really well, and obviously there's the whole questions of can he actually do it in the playoffs. But I don't know. If you're the Cavs, you're not having a great regular season, so you kind of got to get there anyway. So I think the move does make sense. I think it's interesting to see if Garland can have his health be better, but it's not a great look when you're traded for someone 10 years older than you as this is an upgrade. That's not That's not ideal. But I do think it makes the Cavs very interesting if they, which has been long rumored, that they will get LeBron next year for the retirement tour, which feels more and more likely as this Lakers season goes on. Yeah. I think that LeBron is going to do the farewell tour in Cleveland because the vibes will be very good. I think if it's in the Lakers, unless they win, the vibes won't be good. So if you go to the Cavs, even if they don't win, like if they win, and they're a pretty good team, if they win, amazing storybook ending, just wonderful.
Yeah.
If they don't, it's still like, oh, he's back in Cleveland. So I feel like he's going to do that. And this sets them up to do that as well. So we'll see.
Are the Cavs prepared to sign Bronny?
They'd have to trade for him is the thing, because he's under full guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
They would have to trade for Bronny James. That would be the real thing. If they traded for Bronny James this trade deadline, which now it's past the deadline, like that would have been like, oh, it's happening.
Darius Garland for Bronny James.
Oh, no. So let's keep it moving. We then had a big one where the Mavs traded away Anthony Davis plus Jaden Hardy and D'Angelo Russell and Dante Exum. And they got back from the Wizards Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, and then a bunch of picks. So salary filler and then a bunch of picks. The Mavs just going in on the Cooper Flag era, which makes sense. And it's just like there's been so many stats of Kyrie and AD played 25 minutes together. AD played 36% of the games he could as a Maverick. He played 20 games. Like Luka is averaging more points per game than Anthony Davis played games since the trade. Like just stat after stat after stat as to how bad this Luka trade was. It is a smart move for the Dallas Mavericks to do, but when you ultimately look at what happened, if you just go from we turned Luka Doncic into some picks, and if you look at the picks, they're really bad because they're first round picks from very good teams. So you've traded Luka Doncic and gotten a couple young guys and some late first round picks. Just awful return. Just it looks so bad. Ugh.
Yeah, it's when you really do the math of like, what is the direct result of this trade? It just looks worse and worse. And I mean, clearly it costs Nico Harrison his job already. So it's not like there's any more damage to be done to him. But yeah.
But there should be more damage done to him.
There honestly should.
And the Wizards, I don't know what they're cooking up. I feel like it's like this in between of we'll try this out with AD and Trey and see how it goes, and then if not, we didn't give away any of our like good young guys. We just got rid of like some bad picks, and we have enough young guys on the roster that we're not going to use all of our picks. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's up with the Wizards. All right. Then the Sixers traded away Jaron McCain for a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks to the Thunder. This is one of those ones, like from a basketball perspective, it makes sense because VJ Edgecombe is so good that you don't necessarily need McCain, and he's been struggling and up and down. And then for the Thunder, you have so many picks that you like have to get rid of them, so you might as well get a young guy that could contribute to your roster. So it's one of those, makes sense for both teams, but from a vibes perspective, I have 2 friends who are big Sixers fans, and they're very sad because McCain was cool and fun and pretty and
and good at TikTok.
Yeah, he painted his nails and it was cool and he's fun to have around. But like from a basketball perspective, VJ Edgecombe is so good that McCain becomes a little expendable. So
I got to tell you, looking at VJ Edgecombe and Con Knippel and Cooper Flag, all I'm asking myself is why the Bulls didn't tank last year.
Got to get in that play-in game, man. Got to get in that play-in game.
Well, you know what? They finally
if anything is good about this.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, this season, like this upcoming draft is also supposed to be really, really good. So hopefully they will cash in on
yeah,
really
but they've waited too
pick.
long to tank. They spent the first half of the season being 500, so you're not gonna catch up in the tanking category to teams who've only won like 12 games at this point.
Yeah, hopefully the ping pong balls ping and pong to help the Chicago Bulls. So then we've got the Thunder getting Mason Plumlee, trading away Ousmane Dieng and a second-round pick. That feels contractual to me. And I guess Thunder just getting a veteran. I don't know. I don't find this one particularly interesting.
No.
Do you?
No, we can move on.
Now your Bulls are back in the mix. They traded Kobe White and Mike Conley Jr., which they got in a 3-team trade, we'll talk later, to the Hornets for Colin Sexton, Ousmane Dieng, and a 2026 second-round pick, and some other, like 3 second-round picks, I think, total. How do you feel about the Kobe White move?
I'm surprised he ended up on the Hornets. There were a lot of other teams in the mix. I was hearing the Rockets, because obviously he could kind of weather the storm for them until Fred VanVleet comes back from injury next year. I was hearing the Timberwolves, and then obviously they ended up trading for the other Bulls point guard, Ayo Dosunmu. So I don't mind it necessarily, but again, I think they had a real opportunity to trade Kobe White at peak value a year ago, and they didn't do that. So to now trade him away for, Colin Sexton is fine, but like, it doesn't.
They did it for
me.
the picks.
Yeah.
I think they did it for the picks, and I think Kobe White's on the last year of his deal, so it's one of those, we're not going to pay the big bucks to keep him around, so let's get something for him. And I think that's like the tale of a lot of these Bulls moves for the people that started on their roster. It was just like, well, let's get something, and like you're saying, that usually amounts to a bunch of second round picks, which can work out, but are less of a surefire thing.
Yeah, and I think the Hornets honestly are going to be probably like a play-in team this year, and I could see them being decent next year. Like, they've got some pieces now.
They like in recent weeks just kind of turned a corner to being like good, at least proper, like a real team. And I think in conjunction with a lot of teams after this trade deadline really trying to go into the tank category, I think they're going to have a fun end to the season. They brought in some older dudes that can maybe provide a mentorship role. But yeah, they've like, I think, turned the corner into being a little bit better and at least having an upward direction instead of having years and years of, are they going to be good this year? Right? This is the year they're good, right? Like they finally seem to have it.
And one cool part of it for Kobe White is he actually grew up in North Carolina and he played at UNC. He played for the Tar Heels. So like probably a cool thing for him to get to go home. He's from Goldsboro, North Carolina, wherever that is. But I remember that always being a storyline for both he and Patrick Williams, who I wish the Bulls would trade, but I don't think they did.
I don't think teams want him.
No. That would be something where like the Bulls would have to, accept a second round pick and pay most of his salary.
Yeah, don't think that's going to work out.
Nope.
So the next one, the Hornets again are in the trade situation. They traded away cash considerations for Tyus Jones and some second round picks. This was just Tyus Jones this season has just like completely lost his reputation. He was always a big fantasy guy because he's really good with assist to turnover ratio. But when I saw this trade, I was like, what? For cash considerations, that's it? Like not even a pick? Or they had to attach picks to get rid of him? And then all the comments were from Orlando Magic fans who were like, thank God this guy's not on the team anymore. Apparently his defense is just abysmal and his offensive prowess is no longer making it worth it. And apparently he's just like a bum now. And I completely missed this happening. So... Which
is interesting because his brother, Trey Jones, who I believe is still on the Bulls, I don't think he was traded. He's actually had a really nice year, and he's also undersized, but his defense is really impressive for his size. I can't remember if they're twins or just brothers, but they do have a similar profile type in terms of their size and the way they play. So, yeah, it's interesting to me because I somehow, as an outsider, I always thought that Tyus Jones was a well-liked guy in Orlando, but clearly not.
No, the fans seem to hate him. Yeah. Like the comments were brutal. The next one, the Hawks traded Kristaps Porzingis for Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. And I see why the Hawks did this one because KP's been hurt. So let's get some people that can actually play. Let's roll the dice upside on Kuminga. And the Warriors, it just feels like they wanted him out the door and this was the best option. Like I don't think KP is like a huge help to them. I guess stylistically he could fit with the team and could work with Steph, but he's so not ready to play all the time, whether it's a physical injury or he has illnesses. Like I think he's suffering from long COVID, or at least that was going on last year. And I don't know, it just feels like I think that like they never said it officially, but like the way it was described, it felt like he had one of those cases of, it was something where he was just like, I don't know, I was sick and now I like can't catch my breath and stuff. And I was like, I think this dude had long COVID. But I don't know. I think the Warriors were just like, we got to get Kuminga out of here. Let's just take what we can. And they didn't get a pick. They didn't get a young player. They could have, I think, if they did the sign and trade in the offseason, but they had higher hopes. And then in his prove it year, he didn't prove it. So not a lot in return.
Does it really change the Warriors' ceiling though?
No, I don't think so. I think they just wanted to get rid of Kuminga because it just seems like everyone top to bottom in that organization hates him. Right. It's just like they wanted him out the door.
Yeah.
So they did that. And then we've got the Warriors also just trading Trace Jackson Davis, one of their big men, for a second round pick. That just feels like, again, trying to get rid of someone that we don't want. And the Raptors needed big man depth, so at least we can get something from it. Then we had a trade that later made something that made more sense happen, which is that the Knicks traded Goroshan Yabusele for Dalen Terry on the Bulls. And this was a big, like, Team A trades bad player for Team B's bad player. And the initial question was like, why would the Bulls do this? Because Yabusele has a second year on his deal. He has a player option that he will probably accept because he's been awful for us this season. And then the Bulls utilized, I don't know if you utilized him in a trade, or at least the Knicks then utilized Dalen Terry in a trade to get Jose Alvarado. I don't know if the Bulls kept Yabusele.
I think they did, and I don't understand why. But I do have to say, and I obviously want your response to the Jose Alvarado thing. I think he's going to be beloved in New York. Alvarado's whole thing is he just like hustles like crazy. He's also from Brooklyn. He's Puerto Rican. I love the idea that a team that plays in New York, I'm just going to say the team that plays in New York because the Brooklyn Nets are a joke. But the fact that you've got now a Puerto Rican player in Jose Alvarado and a Dominican player in Karl Anthony Towns, like that's such a cool thing for a city where there are incredibly large populations of both Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. So like from that perspective, I also think Jose Alvarado is like scrappy as hell and works really hard, and New Yorkers love somebody like that. So I'm excited about it for you. Are you happy about the move?
It's one of those things where all of the things you're saying are true. And I'm excited about all those things, but just from he's a guard that's not very tall and good at defense. Like we just don't need that. We've got Jalen Brunson. We've got Deuce McBride. We've got Tyler Kolek, our close personal friend. We have Jordan Clarkson. It just feels like we didn't need it. Clarkson hasn't been playing great, so I could see this being okay, you're getting the Clarkson minutes. But on the flip side, this team needed a little bit more FU energy, and I think he brings FU energy. Yeah. So it's one of those things, like, as long as this was like we tried to do other things, like we could use more wing depth for sure. Like we need more wing defenders. If there was nothing that worked out there, and basically the situation was we've turned Yabusele, who's awful and not doing well and just riding away on the bench, for someone who at least can like bring some good vibes, if not other things and energy, like then that is an upgrade. Right. There were other moves that I think we could have done that would have been more helpful, but maybe they just weren't there. And I'm excited. Like, look, the first time he does the little Alvarado sneaky steal thing, it's going to be great. Like, the Garden's going to love him. Everyone's going to love him. Yeah. I'm excited from a personality perspective. Just, I don't think he's what we needed, but like, I don't know. Good to have around. Good to have for sure.
I'm surprised that Yabusele's been as bad as he was for you guys, because I feel like he was decent on the 76ers. And obviously the reason that he's in the NBA is that he had a really impressive Olympics, including dunking on LeBron during the Olympics a couple years ago. But I don't know what the Bulls are doing with him other than having him.
Well, there were these reports.
What's the point?
There were these reports that he like might go play for a team in Israel and like leave his contract early. So I wonder if like, do the Bulls get some sort of like hardship thing if he leaves? And maybe they're like, we want to get the sneaky thing. I don't know. Like, I'm not exactly sure what they've got, or maybe they've got we can fix him energy. Who knows? But I think it seems like he came into the season out of shape and just like never played himself into shape. Like he came in looking kind of bigger, and then he just like wasn't playing well. Yeah. All right. Now the Bulls again. This one I found very surprising. They traded Ayo Dosunmu and Julian Phillips for Rob Dillingham, a guard who has not played well for the Timberwolves, but maybe the change of scenery will be good. Yeah. Leonard Miller, and then a bunch of second round picks and stuff that all have like more favorable of this, least favorable of that, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel?
Of all the Bulls moves, this one hurt the most, like emotionally and just logically. I really don't understand it. So not only is Ayo a kid from Chicago, he played at University of Illinois. Like, he's a hometown guy. The fans loved him. This year in particular, he had really, really come into his own. Like, some of his recent games over the past couple weeks were phenomenal. I think he had 30 points in a recent game. And just like everything you want in a player on and off the court. And so to me, it's not like he was getting paid that much. He could have been a part of whatever the Bulls' future is. And I mean, I guess arguably they're selling him at his highest, but if that's the best you can do as a return, to me, I don't understand why you would make that move. So I'm disappointed on it. And also, he was Celia's favorite bull, mainly because I think she thought he was cute. But that's a valid.
He's a good looking
opinion.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for a while, I remember just because we've watched Knicks Bulls games that for like the past couple of years, I was always like, man, I would love if the Knicks poached this guy from the Bulls. Like he feels like best kept secret in the NBA. And then this season he played so well that he no longer became best kept secret. And the way that people were talking about him, all the reporting before their trade deadline was like, if the Bulls trade him, they'll get a good return. And I guess Dillingham like was a top 10 pick and was a highly touted prospect and just really hasn't worked out in Minnesota. It just feels like you could have got more than him and a bunch of second round picks. Like it feels like him and if this trade is him and a first round pick, then it's like, all right, like we got a young promising dude and a first round pick. But the fact that it was 3 seconds feels like you could have done better. But look, if Dillingham balls out in the new change of scenery, it's Giddey 2.0, right? Like everyone clowned the Caruso trade and then Giddey was amazing. Mm-hmm. So if he comes to Chicago and really finds himself, everyone will be like, what a great trade.
Here's my big concern with the Bulls trading Io. And I might sound crazy saying this, and in 2 years you can tell me that I was wrong. His profile and the way he's like improved on the Bulls, it's kind of Jimmy Butler-esque. Like the Bulls drafted Jimmy Butler with the last pick in the first round. Io was the exact same thing. I think he was like 29th or 30th. He was like kind of in a backseat role because his first couple of years he's there behind Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and all these other guys that the Bulls wanted to give more playing time to. But he would get his minutes and quietly he was super efficient and a good scorer and worked on his game and is really strong defensively. And I've got this weird feeling that like Io could become like a guy, and we're really going to regret getting rid of him. And frankly,
he could become a Guyo.
A Guyo indeed, which I believe is something in geology, but I did not do well in that course. Guyot. I'll have to look up what a Guyo is.
Ooh.
I'll report back on that later. But I am happy for him because I think he's a great fit on the Timberwolves. I think him playing alongside Anthony Edwards or coming in off the bench, like there was real, maybe I'm listening to too much Bulls propaganda, but like there was some real momentum around him getting some votes for 6th man of the year. Like he really was a great player this year. So I don't fully understand it. That's the one of all of the moves that I was most surprised by, that just like emotionally I was really bummed out to find out about. But I guess it is what it is. And if you were curious, a Guyo is a C-mount with a flat top.
Hell yeah. There we go.
AKA like an isolated underwater volcanic mountain with a flat top. Yeah. Which is a great haircut.
That is a good haircut. But yeah, I think like, I don't know, I guess this helps the Bulls be worse this year so you can tank more effectively, I guess. But nah, it's unfortunate because he did seem like he was improving. If you're the Timberwolves, this is a slam dunk. Like Timberwolves fans got to be dancing in the streets. This is an incredible trade for the Wolves. He's going to be great. He's exactly what they need.
Yeah. And there's a part of me that's like, well, I'm happy that I at least get to see a bunch of guys who were on the Bulls be in the playoffs. Like the T-Wolves have gotten to 2 straight conference finals, so like I'm going to see Io in the playoffs. I'm going to see Kevin Huerter in the playoffs. I'm going to see Vucevic in the playoffs. I'm going to, so I'll still root for my guys, but I think I'm out on the Bulls for at least the next couple of months.
Understandably so. So then Luke Kennard was traded to the Lakers for Gabe Vincent in the 2nd round pick. Sure. The Celtics traded away Boucher and a 2nd round pick for TBD, so that feels like a salary dump. Then we had the Knicks Alvarado thing. The Nuggets traded away Hunter Tyson and a 2nd round pick for, I think, a worse 2nd round pick to the Nets. Feels like just a salary dump. The Nets got Josh Minott from the Celtics for TBD, so again, salary dump. Grizzlies got Eric Gordon in a 2nd round pick swap from the Sixers for TBD, so it feels like salary dump. This one I was very surprised by. The Pacers traded away Benedict Mather and Isaiah Jackson and then some 1st round picks, or at least 2 1st round picks and a 2nd round pick for Zubats and Kobe Brown from the Clippers. So the Clippers seem to now be fully future cashing in. But the Pacers, I guess this is like a load up for when Tyrese is back, and this is our Miles Turner replacement. Right. So It's really interesting. It's one of those, like, clearly both teams are doing this for future purposes, but just like different futures. One is distant future and one is next season. Right. I didn't see this. There was like zero rumblings about this one. So this one really came out of nowhere and was like, whoa. And I kind of love it for both teams.
No, I think it's an exciting move for the Pacers. I think if I'm a Pacers fan, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Like, try to keep bottoming out this year, get a great pick, and then all of a sudden you're like right back in the thick of things next year.
So then the Hornets traded Tyus Jones for Malachi Branham with the Mavs. This is just like bad to okay guard for bad to okay guard. I guess just change of scenery kind of move. And then now we can get into the 3-team trades, and that'll wrap it up. So this one was an earlier one, but the Cavs traded basically, I'm just going to say who gets what in all the trades. So the Cavs get Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, and Emmanuel Miller. The Bulls get Saric and some second-round picks, and the Kings get DeAndre Hunter. This, for the Cavs, was a way to get more depth and drop some money to get under the tax. For the Bulls, it was a way to get some picks. For the Kings, it was, I guess, to roll the dice on Hunter, who's having a down year but has played well.
Yeah, because the Bulls flipped Saric as well. He's not even there anymore.
Oh, who'd you flip him for?
I don't even remember. It might be in one of the other trades you're about to mention.
Oh, sure, maybe. So then another one with the Bulls in the mix. So the Bulls receive Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr., who's going to get bought out. The Pistons get Kevin Huerter, Saric. Okay, yeah, so this is it. And then a first-round pick swap. And then the Timberwolves get cash considerations. And this is one
been having a good season.
Cash considerations. Yeah. He's had a great deadline. He's been all over the place. This one is like, I love it for the Bulls. Like, yeah, roll the dice on Jaden Ivey. This is, of all the, maybe the change of scenery will work out trades, this is the one that I think has the highest chance of success. It's like, this is, I think, a great Bulls trade. I think this is the best one that you guys did.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I mean, Ivey, it scares me a little bit because he's had 2 major knee surgeries or leg surgeries, I think, in the past year and a half. So, like, what exactly is his health status? But he's certainly a guy you can dream on, and he's shown flashes of brilliance when he's been good. So I don't mind taking a risk on somebody like that. And Kevin Huerter is exactly like a Luke Kennard, someone who's like a great spot shooter, deserves to be on a good team. He'll probably be super valuable to the Pistons in their playoff run. So I think it's a good move for the Bulls and really for everybody.
It's a make sense for all teams kind of thing, where it was like, clearly we gotta give, a contending team get someone who can help them right now. The rebuilding team gets someone who can help them in the future. And the Timberwolves, all it did was clear cap space. So when this one happened, it was a couple of days before the deadline. People were like, Giannis? Like, that was the only explanation. It was like, why would the Timberwolves do this except to try and get Giannis? Maybe it was that. Maybe it was just to get under the tax. Maybe it was to facilitate some of these other moves. But it definitely reeked of, they're trying to at least open the door for a Giannis move.
Right.
So,
and by the way,
that's there.
Not to tease you too much, Giannis did not get traded. John Morant did not get traded. There were a couple of big names that were floated around that didn't move. We'll see if something happens in the offseason. It's possible. But
it's going to be in the offseason. There's more flexibility. I think that the Bucks can get more and other teams can go. It was just this thing of like, any team that was in position to get him with the right assets didn't want to have to like completely restructure the roster, especially given that Giannis is currently injured. So you already have most of the season done, and then who knows when he comes back. So it's just like, I think it makes sense to just wait, and then the Bucks are probably going to shut him down for the year so that they can try and tank. Here's another 3-team trade. The Raptors get Chris Paul, who they've already said, you don't have to come to the team. We can buy you out if you want to.
Right.
The Nets get Ochai Agbaji and some cash considerations and a second-round pick, and then the Clippers get like a right to a player that they'll never get. So it's just a way for them to get rid of Chris Paul. I'm at least glad he's not toiling away on no roster, so he can play for a team. I don't know what's going to happen. The Bulls, sign him, get another guard, bring him in,
mentor all the other guards. Yeah, there you go.
Come on through, it'd be great. And then let's see, this is the second to last one. The Jazz get Lonzo Ball, cash considerations, and some second round picks. The Cavs get cash considerations, and the Hawks get Jock Landale, which like he's good. So like great move for them here. The Jazz getting Lonzo Ball, like I think they said that it might be a buyout, so it seems like they did this move just to get some picks. But I don't know, like Jock Landale's a good player, so good for the Hawks to get some big man depth.
Yeah.
And then finally, we've got the Bucks get Nigel Hayes-Davis and Ousmane Dieng, who has moved 3 times in this trade deadline. What a busy day for Mr. Dieng. The Suns get Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey, and the Bulls get Nick Richards, who like got some upside, but he's another guard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have an all guard roster right now. There's one other move, not a trade per se, but the Brooklyn Nets are waiving Cam Thomas. So,
whoa,
yeah. I mean, they're just getting his money off the book. So essentially what happens when someone is waived, they are able to be signed by another team depending on like the waiver order. But the idea is that the other team that he signs with pays the full salary. So it'll be very interesting to see where he goes because Cam Thomas is a really good player.
Well,
was a good player.
If you're playing pickup basketball,
yeah,
like that's the problem. He's the ultimate like good stats, bad team guy, right. And he similar to Kuminga was in this like prove it deal, and it did not work out well.
Yeah, he did not.
And I don't. It's one of those things where like again, like an all offense, not team mindset, not great defense guy, just is more and more not having a place in this league. Look at Kuminga. Look at him. Look at some of these other guys. Look at Trae Young. And I just don't know that there's going to be interest, but wow, that's very spicy.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the trade deadline. We did it. We've done it. We've covered it. Any final thoughts before we close it out?
No final thoughts on the deadline other than my my pledge to not watch the Bulls anymore. Real quick before we wrap up, do we want to talk at all about the All-Star lineups? Just a quick like rundown since that has happened since our last episode.
I think it's fine. I mean, like, we've got the two USA versus the world team. The jerseys are really cool. I really like the uniforms. I think they look great. I'm glad that Kawhi got in. There was the whole hubbub around LeBron getting in, but not Kawhi. But then they had to add him to make the annoying format of the two USA teams and the world team work. And then I think...
Well, especially since the Clippers are hosting it at their stadium, like, he should get
in. I liked the rumblings that there was like, because he would have been a reserve, and it was like the coaches didn't vote for him as a way to punish the Clippers for the cap circumvention. It's like, I don't think the coaches give a damn about that. No. So I liked the rumor mill of like Adam Silver's icing out Kawhi. He wouldn't put him in. Like all this stuff about the aspiration thing was really funny. But like, I think if the format, it could work, but like, I think in the end, especially with like the injury stuff, like it seems like all the right guys are in the game. So it should be fun. I'm glad that Brunson and Cat are in there from a Knicks perspective. So the rosters look good. Let's just see if this weird format actually works.
It almost certainly won't, but all right. Well, that's it.
Oh, but here's the big thing though.
Yes,
the big final note.
Yeah.
Shams playing in the Celebrity All-Star game, I might watch it. Like give me more of these celebrities, not these random Twitch streamers I've never heard of. The micro niche internet celebrity says.
I think it would be really funny if he got traded mid-game.
That
would be a really good
him
bit.
Breaking his own news that he's going to play in the game was a really funny bit.
Yes.
Like if he's good, that would be so fun.
He looks like he would be. He looks like he's in good shape.
He looks athletic.
He looks athletic. Yeah.
I think it could be fun. Sweet. But that has been our Trade Deadline Spectacular. Thank you to everyone who watched live and for all of you all listening. Woo! Thanks for listening to this episode of Horse. Horse is hosted by Adam Awala and Mike Schubert. This episode was edited by Mike Schubert. The music is by Bettina Kopamanes. The art's by Elson Wakeman. The website is by Aurelia Lieb. And the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer-level patrons, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, who is here watching in person. Anna Reed, Steph Curry has some new teammates, a.k.a. Kristaps Porzingis.
Bang in Latvian.
A Latvian bang. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin Ginger Spurs Boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furley, Utah Jash, and Derry Bird. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because...
Horse Hoops was run by cash considerations, and they've been traded so many times that the Twitter was like, suspicious activity, your location is changing too much, you're a bot.
That could be, and I believe when horses are traded, they're traded for grass considerations or hay considerations.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Grass Consideration's a great weed store that you could go to in Portland.
Yeah. You can go to our website, horsehoops.com, for links to all of the trade info if you want to see it and absorb it, because there is a lot going on.
Yes, and if you want to support the Horse Boys, go to patreon.com/horsehoops. That's how you could have watched this live. That's how you could have done what Lisa did, which is listen/watch this and play Hades 2. Elite multitasking.
Incredible
And you
stuff.
can also go to patreon.com/horsehoops for all the other content, and then you can go to horsehoops.com/merch for sub-nerd stuff like shirts and wallpapers and ringtones and a bunch of cool stuff. But we're going to close this episode as we always do by putting our hands in the middle and say something on the count of 3. I think given that he got so much run this year, I feel like we got to say cash considerations on 3. Like he
Sure,
a lot
yeah,
of cash considerations moves, and to pay homage to a horse legend, I think we say cash considerations on 3.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Cash considerations. MVP. Alrighty, thanks everybody. Woo.